Up, y'all. What the fuckity fucking puff again? We doing two videos this weekend. Or week. Not the top 10 of the rock songs yet. I still have to put that together and stuff, which probably won't, but I might. You never know. Now this one's an unusual one. People have been asking me to highlight some of my favorite artists or bands that have been bands mainly that shaped my life since I've been born. Let's say, for instance, so bands over the last 40 years, basically. So from 1982 to 2023, if you have been a band and you've released more than 3 albums, it's possible that I could subject you to this top 15 list or a top 10 list or even a top 5 list. But for bands that have more than 3, 4, or decades worth of albums and stuff like that, I'm going to do something called the top 15 non-hit songs. Yeah, instead of doing a top hits, I'm going to do a top non-hits. And, well, my first victim is Red Hot Chili Peppers. So we go hear some unusual stuff, things that you don't unusually hear, and some cool things and samples in between. We're going to take La La, La La, La La, La La from Return of the Dream Canteen, the most recent album, at number 15 by the Peppers. Yeah, let's get chillied. And because copyright trolls suck and I hate them, gotta keep going, gotta keep playing them, I'm just doing 15 seconds and I'm going to talk about how my little notes that I took down for each one and stuff like that. This one, honestly, it's piano-driven anthem rock from a funky band that doesn't suck. If they kept it going for a prog rock epic, it would have treated this beauty a little better than the Piano Man. Still a song you don't expect from the Peppers, though. So, that's why it goes on the list. Number 14 from Stadium Arcadium, we are going with Slow Cheetah. And Slow Cheetah is just yet another reason why the Peppers have endured time. This song could have been number 1 and wasn't even released. Number 13, we're going to go from the album I'm With You with Brendan's Death Song. It's a rare acoustic start to a nice anthem sad song. The Peppers don't do sad, but this one borders on tears just from listening. Yes, they had a lot of acoustics in the 90s and stuff, but the fact that this album was released in 2021, I think it was, or 2019 or something like that, and we really didn't hear much acoustic guitars for 20 years from them. Like, that's a shocker. I know where it pops out of nowhere. Next one is they're showing off their instrumental chops. And I will say straight off from the beginning, if Pretty Little Ditty never existed, Crazy Town would have never sampled it to create the Butterfly song. So blame the Peppers if you never liked You're My Butterfly, Sugar, Baby. Because the copyright trolls suck and I hate them, gotta keep going, gotta keep playing them. I want to play it until you can actually hear the frickin' Crazy Town sample. And again, we have to pause it for the 15 seconds because I keep wanting to get to that little spot. Apparently it's further in than I thought it was in the song. But yeah. Chili Peppers are the one who came up with that frickin' riff. Not Crazy Town. They just sampled it and turned it into one of the frickin' craziest frickin' songs of the late 90s, early 2000s. This is why we puff, because it's Crazy Town. Alright, we're going back to Stadium Arcadium for number 11 with Warlocks. And that's where the copyright trolls suck, and I hate them. Gotta keep going, gotta keep playing them. This song perfectly puts the funk on notice with some pop and rock, waltzing in with jazz and funk solos. The story and lyrics are on point, but not the main focus of this well-crafted tune. The bluesy ending solo is the right finishing touch, too. We'll go back in the notes a little bit further. Now we're going to go down to number 10. And even though this was like a promotional single, it didn't really get any traction. I have a couple on here that were promotional singles at one point in time, but didn't get traction compared to all the other ones that were on that album and stuff. So from Blood Sugar Sex Magic, we have Apache Rose Peacock. Hey, that's where copyright trolls suck, and I hate them. Gotta keep going and gotta keep playing them. With Apache Rose Peacock, Frusciante Blood just blends Flea's line perfectly in this long, weird story Cheetah crafted that kind of seems like a subplot of Puff the Magic Dragon, and then just keeps going to a million new stories that keep coming back to the land Jackie Paper and Puff lived. All while talking about some lost girl. Like, a lot of his lyrics don't make any sense, but this one actually kind of made no sense while making sense. Best thing I can say and stuff like that. The next one up here and stuff, we're going to talk about it first before we go into it. One of Cheetah's first introductions of doing a blend of funk, rock, punk, and rap with his weird way of sing, rap, scat. His scrappy style is what I like to call it. This song almost has an amazing guitar solo like those heard later on Mother's Milk and Blood Sugar Sex Magic and Californication. Further, but as was the 80s, they scratched up the track with vinyl DJ mixes. It shows they had their 90s, 2000s revitalization before most thought. So here is Organic Anti-Beatbox Band from the Uplift Mofo Party. And we gotta stop there because, copyright trolls suck and I hate them. Gotta keep going, gotta keep playing them. I wish I could do an entire freaking 30-minute freaking or 4-hour podcast and play the entire songs and talk about all the songs and pause them in between everything. But, copyright trolls suck and I don't have the podcast freaking rights yet for all this stuff. So, gotta do what I gotta do to freaking make it go. Next time we're gonna go into... This one is from their self-titled 1984 Red Hot Chili Peppers album. And so much of this album makes One Hot Minute as good as Blood Sugar Sex Magic. but this track alludes to a nice blend between punk and funk that you'll hear in their popular songs 20 years later. And while most songs on this album, and unlike most songs on this album, this song actually sounds like a coherent song. Trust me. This album is one of those ones that you just don't want to play very often. I'm glad this one's only 15 seconds of it, but it's a good song. Buckle down. Number 8. No, it's got a nice little like do 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 do, but it's late 70s, early 80s. Like you gotta factor in like this was 84. Like you still have that 70s freaking funk freaking flair, and they're like trying to mix the funk and the punk and the 80s new wave, and they've got so much going on. They're literally like still throwing the name in the hat ring so much that it's just like an abomination of a thing. Again, for songs that were released but didn't get any traction and stuff like that, this one was released after they had done 2 promo singles from soundtracks and stuff like that, and they released this song and it went nowhere. There was no charting on it. I think New Zealand, I think it charged like 135 on the 200 list in New Zealand is the best it freaking did, which is like horrible for any song and stuff like that. But honestly, it probably would have gotten better traction if not for all those other things. But I was not much fans of the Red Hot Navarro Peppers era. Album was good, but this flat-tuned, stripped-down flash between funk and addiction junk material is fire. So here's Coffee Shop. And of course, you don't even get to hear any of the freaking lyrics because it had this weird ass intro that freaking Navarro freaking wanted some weird ass intro in almost 90% of every single song on One Hot Minute, and it really sucked that Frusciante was not with the band at the time, but we all know the story. And if you don't know, go look it up. I'm not gonna blabbermouth all their freaking tales and stuff like that. That shit in the past. People got older, they got wiser, and some of them got soberer. Number 6 on the list of the top 15 non-hit Red Hot Chili Peppers songs, we are going for, from Freaky Styley, we are going for Millionaires Against Hunger. This song encapsulates the flair of the 70s with the commercialized hip-hop and pop genres that plagued the 1980s. This song is purposely poking fun at the genre and the countless songs made for social causes by people with tons of money, by which the marketing costs usually supersede the actual amounts raised for the causes. It's honestly got almost like a Curtis Blow feel to it. It's almost like the 80s albums. The 80s albums before Mother's Milk with freaking Chili Peppers, they were so far like they weren't sure if they were going to go into hip-hop. They weren't sure if they were new age. They weren't sure where they fit in. And thankfully, somewhere along the line around Mother's Milk and Blood Sugar Sex Magic, they figured out what their identity was and became the amazing stars that they are today. Speaking of Mother's Milk, from number 5 from Mother's Milk, we are putting on Subway to Venus. And this one, I fell in love with this song because of a local ska band. I'm from Poughkeepsie, New York, and over in New Paltz, New York, which is like 15, 20 miles away from us. It's a college town it's like the next college town over type thing. There was a band called The Schematics, and they covered it in a live show in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was mesmerized by this song. And I didn't even know it was a Chili Peppers song at the time. That's how freaking back far I was. I actually didn't remember it being a Chili Peppers song because the way this band did it was different than Chili Peppers, and it sounded better than Chili Peppers did. But to honor the band that I did, the track starts slow, but it funkifies and floats on a cloud, bucking along the way to an enigmatic cataclysm. So here's Subway to Venus, number 5. And that's all in 15 seconds. That's how much freaking was slammed into this one. Up next at number 4, we're going right into the probably the 3 best albums that they ever did. Going to be featured in the next freaking 4 tracks. From Californication, we have Emit Remmus. And with this song, nope, that's not this one. That is going into... That goes up to this spot. Now we go over here with Emit Remmus. This flea line is intoxicating, constantly bringing you in and leaving you stranded. It's like the couple in the song American versus British. The song rides the waves between the lovers. London in the summertime. Yes, one of those best songs. The next one from, by the way, Tear, that's going on number 3. This song always made me think that the Peppers wrote this song as a tribute to the Canteen comics. The alluded inferences are very subtle. It's a classic piece, like fitting for a Broadway version of Canteen done in a review style, in my opinion. But this is Tear. Who wants to play? There it goes. And that's where copyright trolls suck, and I hate them. Gotta keep going, I gotta keep playing them. Going back over to Californication for number 2 with This Velvet Glove. This one blends funk, ska, alternative, metal, and